What's popping, y'all? It's been a little bit since Plaqueboymax officially left FaZe Clan, which a lot of people didn't even think he was serious about, but we come to find out, he wasn't playing any games, and
knew he was.
The fans have really been itching to find out why. I'm going to play you guys this first clip where he says he doesn't talk about it, but later on he gives some reasoning, which I don't think is all the way the full reasoning, but I'm going to play you guys this clip first.
Holy dad, Max stream longer. Okay, I got good news for y'all, bro. I don't know. I know I told y'all I was leaving FaZe and thought, damn, bro, this is going on another hiatus, bro. He quitting on us, bro. Yo, gang, it's 3 days later. I will be back Sunday. I will literally be back Sunday. You feel me? I'm not disappearing. There's just been so much I've been dealing with for the past, 3 months. I'm not gonna lie, bro. That I literally, I don't think y'all understand. When I told y'all I cannot go in depth and can't speak on, I can't speak on it. I can't speak on it. I don't think y'all understand. I cannot speak on it. Will I speak on it? Hopefully soon. But I can't speak on it. Y'all act like I don't want to tell y'all. I tell y'all everything, nigga. Y'all know everything about my life.
So is that like a legal thing? I'm lost. If you say you can't, that means there's something pending, which makes me think that there's probably not necessarily maybe a trial, but something that's maybe contract binding. Maybe that's what it is. Perhaps NDA related, though I don't think it really works. Well, no, it's legal because NDAs don't protect illegal activities. So it's probably illegal activities. Maybe it's NDA related. Likely, possibly.
You feel me? So chill.
That's the only thing that makes I can't.
I wish I knew that. That's why I'm mad that these. What's it called? I could.
So here you could see he's visibly stressed. He's got probably 1,000,001 things to worry about, and he's trying to figure out what he can and cannot say. So he's just pushing it off to the side. And then a couple of days later, he goes on to give a little bit of a reason. I think just a reason enough to get people off of his back so they don't keep asking the question, because I don't think the real reason will be made public anytime soon. Maybe it'll leak out or something in a year or two. I can't really say the real reason, to be honest. I've been sworn to secrecy. But I'm going to play you guys that second clip.
Shout out to everyone in FaZe. I love all of them. They're my boys. I don't own FaZe. I don't own FaZe, gang. No ownership. I want to build something. If your pussy hurt because you're mad that I want to build something for myself, sorry, I don't know what to tell you, because I'm still going to do it. And I'm going to make this FiveStar shit the biggest ever. And me, the biggest ever. That don't mean I don't with these. That don't mean I won't with these. That don't mean I won't do shit with these. I love them. They're my boys. But at the end of the day, bro, I'm going to do what I feel is right for me. And then when you see the workout down the line, you'll see what I mean. That's all I'm going to say. I love these though.
So he wants to
start. But I got to make
or
grown man decisions.
Lock more
I'm 22,
into FiveStar.
Not 18 no more in my mom room.
So here, the reason that he gives is ownership. Now, he knew he didn't have ownership from day one. He already had FiveStar going into it. That's a difference between Plaqueboymax and all of these other people. Now, I did say Plaqueboymax had a bigger brand than these other guys going into it. But for example, Silky. Silky was Nation, which was Annoying TV's thing, which it never really panned out. And that just goes to show how important it is to have the right team and people in the background who never get any credit, by the way, to make sure things are facilitated properly and content is coming out and the group is doing stuff. Because Nation, it started and it was going to be a thing, and then it just, I wouldn't say it quickly faded, but Annoying TV spoke on their management who left to be a stripper and just a bunch of crazy stuff. So
time out. Why did you have a manager that would be willing or potentially capable of needing to leave and be a stripper? Were y'all just not compensating the manager enough, or what was going on? Because there's no reason you should switch from being a manager of people that were making a decent amount of money. Now, obviously, I'd assume Silky's making significantly more. And Annoying's never really been, I guess, too low tier. He's been in the mix and had money conversations with people before. I remember some streams where everybody would, chat together about bread. But, how does that occur? Maybe I'm tripping. If my manager was willing to leave to strip, I think that's more indicative of something I did wrong or me picking a terrible manager. I'm not going to lie, because there's no reason that should ever be on the table.
Silky was just solo streamer. Stable Ronaldo, he was a solo streamer as well, in Fortnite. Same thing with Lacy. Jason the Ween, he was a solo streamer. These guys didn't have their own crew. Before going into this, Plaqueboymax had FiveStar. He had a couple of guys that were FiveStar that his community knew. They would appear on streams. I think they had, it was a FiveStar house stream. So Plaqueboymax had the ability to put on events himself without getting into FaZe. So he comes into FaZe, and the ownership part, I can see what he means, but really I think Plaqueboymax wants to be away from any of the controversy surrounding FaZe. Like, take a look at, for instance, FaZe Banks, right? FaZe Banks, he just stepped down because of some controversy related to some crypto stuff. Stable Ronaldo, if you guys recall, he got put in an ad for, and he didn't even know what he was doing. I'm not sure if I'm misremembering, but I do remember something along those lines. But then Lacy goes on and says something that contradicts what Max is talking about.
First of all the new guys in FaZe, we do have ownership, okay? It's not a lot, but we do. All right, so that's first thing. Second off, to this Brick Sky guy that's saying this, all right?
Knew this was the reason, LOL. I swear to God, if everyone else leaves, FaZe is literally dead. Don't know why these guys are uplifting that brand and don't even get paid for it. Even if they weren't getting paid for it, there's a certain level of notoriety and opportunity that comes with being with FaZe. It's the whole point of joining FaZe. I'm kind of confused where that thought process comes from. I don't know.
Listen, y'all gotta understand.
Told me.
It's a thing where we are in FaZe, okay? Mm-hmm. I don't pay for housing. Mm-hmm. I live for free. Mm-hmm. All right? This mansion that I live in is free. My stream room is free. The stuff in my stream room is free because FaZe pays for it. Bepsy and Addison setting up production for all the streams. FaZe pays for it.
Okay.
Every YouTube video you guys see that drops on every Friday. Not a dime comes out of my pocket. FaZe pays for it. Okay. I rep FaZe. I am FaZe, and in return, FaZe covers everything that I need in order for me to produce content. That seems like a fair ass trade-off to me. And if it does,
and they said that they don't touch any of the money that they make off streams either. So my question is, how does FaZe as a group make money? Like the organization itself make money off of them? Is it like they do ads every now and then, like specifically for it, and that money goes to it? Because that's the part that I'm trying to connect right now. Because obviously, fantastic opportunity if they're willing to go ahead and pay for, the mansion that they just, tore apart and whatnot. Cleaning, if they're paying for food and stuff too, that's also a nice thing if they are. I mean, even if they're not, that's not really a big deal breaker. Because I think the production side of things, making sure you have, your editing pages and people and all that sort of stuff taken care of, those are big expenses, especially if you're a content creator with their level of notoriety. But I'm just wondering how they get the money to pay for all that if they're not touching anybody's streamer checks.
To you guys, and I don't know, but that's for me. That's good for me.
So here, Lacy talks about how, listen, we actually do got a part of ownership. Now, first, I'm going to address the ownership piece, and then I'm going to address what FaZe does for them. I think ownership is possibly one of the most overrated aspects of it because people had ownership of FaZe originally, and then they sold it for a ton of money, and they all became very, very rich. And then they were upset because the people that they sold it to weren't handling it in the way that they saw fit. And then the value of it went down significantly. And then I think FaZe Banks bought it, maybe with the assistance of other people. I don't know if he's 100% owner. And then now he's still the owner, but he stepped down as CEO. But really, what does ownership really mean? If it's like, what does that look like in terms of revenue? Although these guys don't really have to worry because they're making so much cash flow that I guess an ownership piece makes more sense than how much they're getting paid. The thing, and so fair, I think ownership is a little bit overrated, but they do have ownership. So that does knock off Plaqueboymax's point. But I think the way Plaqueboymax is looking at it is he wants ownership of the brand. FaZe was a thing before Plaqueboymax. FaZe is still a thing after Plaqueboymax.
I think also just ownership-wise, I don't know how many people, I've heard the books for FaZe are like kind of messed up too as far as ownership goes. And to his credit, where he said the part where it got sold originally, then the value dropped significantly, then Banks tried to revitalize it, and thus far he's done a good job aside from his own, side quests and issues, which is a whole different video entirely. I'd assume the value went up, but I would say that the obvious headliner and leader of FaZe, the Kai Cenat of FaZe, so to speak, is Plaqueboymax. So I could understand if maybe he does have a piece of ownership, but it's a significant, but all of them have like an equal bit, but it's all just really small. I could understand him being irritated about that because it's not really representative of him, and whatever money that FaZe clearly does make somehow, I'm not really sure how. I probably should know, and it's just eluding my brain right now, but whatever amount that they do end up making, he probably wants to touch more of that because he obviously is the biggest cash cow in the organization. So by proxy, he's the one that's bringing in the most money. So he feels like he should also probably make, if not the most, right, a significantly larger portion, right? So let's say each of the FaZe guys is only getting 2%, because I think there's 5 of them: Silky, Naldo, Lacy, Jason, him. Yeah, 5 guys. So let's say they all get 2%, totals at the 10% total. You know what I'm saying? I could understand him feeling some sort of way, because he's like, man, I'm really running it so crazy right now. My numbers are so significantly better. Like, it's literally the rest of the boys combined or whatever. I should be getting it at least like, 20% or something crazy, right? I think that's a conversation that could be potentially had, because he is on top of the game, and maybe you write out a specific contract that puts things in a certain perspective. But he did have FiveStar before, so I could understand him reaching a point where he's like, if I go on my own, and since I am FiveStar, when you think FiveStar, you think Plaqueboymax. So if I go out of my way to make it like really big, like actually big, like the AMPs, RDCs of the world, forget all the backroom chit chat, the locker room talk about the issues that FaZe has had in the past. Nobody really knows of too many. I don't know of any 5-star scandals. Now maybe there is some, and I just don't know. But I haven't heard of anything crazy, and nobody really seems to have an issue socially in a crazy way, or beef crazily with Plaqueboymax. So I think that it would be more of a fresh start for him. There's more money in it for him, because he would be the main guy. And if he, splits it up contractually or whatever with whoever the main guys are that he decides to bring in, because I know he had a couple guys with him. I don't know if they were all streaming per se, but there was a decent number of guys that mattered that were in his circles beforehand. So if he goes back to that in a way and puts it on steroids, because he's seen how the industry works, he's seen how group dynamics can be, he's understood like balancing books, what type of team he's required to have, what you need, camera wise, gear wise, all that sort of stuff, event wise, planning wise. He can say now, hey, since I was the biggest face in that area, and I picked up all these different things from different people, and maybe you even brought some of those people with you, I can now do this on my own and make it my thing, and now I'm making significantly more money because it's me. When you think 5-star, you think me. So I could understand. I could definitely see that being the reason, but the emotions behind it seem kind of weird. At the same time, I don't know.
Leaves. I think Plaqueboymax wants something that is Plaqueboymax. When people think FaZe, they think of the new gen thinks of these guys, but historically, it's not these guys. It's not the members. It's the OGs. Like, they'll think of Adapt, or they'll think of Banks, or was Blaziken one of them? I don't remember. I really wasn't into that whole FaZe optic thing while it was going on. It wasn't that I wasn't even into it. I didn't even really know what it was, or if it existed until like 2015 or so, or maybe even 2015, I would say, is when I found out about all of that stuff, which was late. So there's that. And I think Plaqueboymax is like, I've got my own thing, which is 5-star, which is me, and I have the capability to do everything here. So Lacy goes on to say, well, this exchange is great for me. I get to live in this house for free. I don't pay for this house. I don't pay for production. And the thing that I wonder is, well, if FaZe has admitted they don't take a percentage of any of the money that these guys are making, where the hell is the money coming from for the people that are editing the YouTube videos for FaZe, that are filming the YouTube videos for FaZe, that are doing the production for Lacy streams and the other people there? Where's the money coming from for the rent for that gigantic mansion or the lease for that gigantic mansion? Where's that money coming from if they're not generating that money? And that's where I start to scratch my head, and we don't just need an expert pocket watcher for that. We need like an investigative, what's the guy's name? From Psych, the TV show. Yeah, I forgot his name. But we need a psychic. That's what we need. Somebody that's a private investigator, a PI, to look into that. Because I don't know how FaZe is making money. Because they were taught if FaZe Banks was able to buy it back, that means, oh yeah, I remember they IPO'd and everything. They did revive it though. Like, FaZe as a brand is killing it right now. But when you look at a Lacy, right? That's not a Plaqueboymax. With all due respect to that guy, like, yeah, he's killing it in the content game, but Plaqueboymax is different. That guy stands out from that group. He has the ability to be a leader of his own group. He's just being held back by those guys, and it does knock off
kind of draw the line right there. Held back is crazy, because we're not going to sit here and act like the rest of the guys are bums. You had it in the beginning where you said like they're all killing it in the game in their own rights, but he's just clearly the front runner. Because, for example, to draw that parallel again, when I think of AMP, like, a lot of people think of Kai Cenat first. Some people think of Duke Dennis first. But usually most people won't think of like Davis or Chris, but they're all integral parts in their own way, and they all bring something to the table, and none of them are scrubs, right? But it would be facetious and a little over-exaggerated to sit there and say, oh yeah, Kai is being held back by AMP. That'd be the most ludicrous thing in the world, because a lot of his content, aside from bringing in, you know, celebrities and stuff, is with him and the boys. So held back is crazy. If you want to say he's the leader of the organization, he's the leader of that team, absolutely, I'm down 100%. But to say that he's being held back is crazy. That's kind of crazy.
Reasoning that Plaqueboymax gave, but I think Plaqueboymax is, like I said, his real reasoning will knock him out for a long while. I do think part of it is that he wants his own brand to succeed, and you can't have a 5-star if you're a part of FaZe. It doesn't really make sense. It doesn't work unless it's a subsidiary of that brand. For instance, Nike, right? Air Jordan.
On a side note, he needs to pick better people to like collab with, like artist wise. Not all of them have been bad, but he's had a couple too many unsavory conversations with some of these rappers and artists that just makes me feel like he's being low-key. He's getting played in a way. And it's from artists that you would expect them to treat you this way. I think that's what I'm trying to get at. Because some people, they do something that's like, what? Them? Never. Really? This is how they're like in real life? Like they're really rude or whatever the case may be. But with him, sometimes like recently with Lil Baby, I haven't touched really base on much of it, but they said that Lil Baby was trying to either punk him or play him or like get or scam him in some way on stream. And I was like, I was not really surprised. If you've seen how Lil Baby's been moving lately, how he's been dressing and interacting with people and whatnot, and how he's spoken in interviews lately compared to what he was even like 2-3 years ago, it's not the same artist, it's not the same hunger, it's not the same mentality, it's not the same energy. And it wouldn't surprise me if you tried to scam somebody. Why not?
That's Nike, but Air Jordan is underneath Nike. And Michael Jordan, right? Air Jordan, that's Nike, but Air Jordan is underneath Nike, and Michael Jordan's teamed up with them. 5-star was a thing before he came to FaZe. Jordan brand wasn't a thing before he went to Nike. You see the difference there? And why would he take 5-star and make it something underneath FaZe when I think he believes that 5-star can be as big as FaZe or even bigger? And I do think Plaqueboymax has a chokehold on the younger generation when it comes to kind of culture, fashion, things like that. I'm not saying like the guy's good at fashion or any of those means, but when you look at the rest of those guys, they're not influential in that way. Kai Cenat is, like I said, Mr. Beast of Twitch, so he's faded away from having any type of influence in that realm. And that leaves Plaqueboymax. So he's somebody that can really do it all from what I've seen. Quite a talented streamer, able to plan events, able to act on stream, able to deal with other people, able to make music. He's able to do it all. So I think he just outshined FaZe. He was like, yo, I'm bigger than this. I don't need this anymore. Like, think about it. He doesn't care about ownership, especially like the monetary aspect. He'd rather build 100% of 5-star that he owns or whatever minute percentage he has of FaZe. There's that. And then there's also the aspect of, yo, it's time for him to really make stuff shake. He doesn't need his rent paid. He doesn't need production. He can handle the production himself. He knows how to build a team. He has the right people around him. I can tell you that much. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And
he hit the nail on the head with that one.